The meeting minutes from August 12th. Carol or Jeff?
Yeah, I would make a motion that those would be approved.
Okay. I have a motion by Jeff to approve the meeting minutes. Do I have a
Second.
I think I had Mike's hand first, so we'll say Mike with the second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. Okay, Community Corrections Report for the month. Brett Barton.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Every month I come up here and I give you fairly the same static numbers. They don't change much. But today I want to talk about my remarkable staff a little bit. So Marissa Blackwell, Jamie Camp, Nick Hillman, Todd Whitlock, and Josh Spencer. So the month of August, I collected the last 4 quarterly reports for each community corrections agency in the state. Spent my weekends going through a lot of the data on there. I looked at collections, percentage of collections, the fees, grant dollars compared to budgets, number of completions, number of supervisions. What I found was my staff was able to collect more in program fees than we accepted in grant dollars.
Wow.
There were only 12 agencies in the state that did that, so very proud of them. And of those 12, only 2 had a collection rate of over 100%. We did that. You know, we keep our clients accountable for their fees. We go after back fees. We use Trex to its fullest. So I just wanted to
That's
let you guys
awesome.
know
That's
my
great.
staff and how proud I am of
thank
them. So.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
That's good to hear on a budget day. I mean,
It is,
we,
yeah, I
we,
thought-
we have some Trex again. Continuing to show how that program has worked, and you're to be complimented for implementing that and the great success we've had
It's a
with
great
that.
tool. One of these days, I hope it goes to the federal side too.
Yeah, that'd be neat. Yeah. Okay.
Outside of that, any questions for me?
No. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you for that. That was a nice change of pace.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we have anybody here for probation.
Matthew contacted me this morning. He had an emergency. That
Okay.
He's not going to be able to be here, but his report is submitted.
Okay. Then
It's right here.
we did have some claims for the month of August, $2,275. So we've had numbers for the last 3 months, which had ended our long cycle of a lot of zeros, but still within budget and, overall not looking too bad. So we'll look forward to hearing again from Matthew next month. That moves us on to new business, matron job description adoption. So we've had this job description come up before the commissioners. Commissioners approved it at their last meeting. I think, if I'm correct, Cecily, correct me if I'm wrong, the primary changes were the inclusion of commissary duties on that job description, and then a specific reference to the statutory responsibilities of the position by inserting the statute number. Is that correct? To allow for lunch. Yeah, so we've had those 3 items. It did go before the Job Classification Committee and got their approval and recommendation. So I don't see any reason why we don't finish this process off, but I'll open it up for comment. Anybody on the committee? Sheriff, please, go ahead.
I do have a comment. This goes against what the position of appointed matron is. We have never seen this, but as in every other meeting, it is obvious that there's a goal and there's an agenda to accomplish. We've been through court. We've been told to mediate. We've been told all of these things by a court. We've talked about and had litigated what the authority of the sheriff is. So we're going to continue to tear down what the authority of the sheriff is, the appointees that are granted to him, and also the commissary issues at hand. It's been a long 3 or 4 years here. But I do have all the information for the most part that I need to see who's created this agenda, who has put their hands in this. And this is something that is a simple action that obviously will have and create a reaction by the sheriff's office. This is not about the position that I hold. It's about the position people will hold in the future. It's about the authority that is provided to the sheriff through Indiana state statute and to the things that we just don't want to accept here in Clinton County. So I do appreciate everything that the council does, everything that the commissioners do. But when we put egos and attitudes and everything else into the mix and personal agendas, that's when it becomes ugly, which it has been for several years now.
Where has the ego or egos or anything else came from this board?
I didn't say this board, not at all.
Well, yeah,
I
that's
appreciate,
Session right now is this board. So I take offense to that comment. A great offense to that comment.
you can take offense to it. I apologize. It's not directed at you. It's not directed at several people, but it has to be said.
Sheriff, I view this as making our job description consistent with how the work is actually happening, and it's for the protection of the sheriff's department and protection of the county and the protection of the matron. In fact, I went back and looked because I thought I remembered this, but in the jail inspection report submitted by the sheriff's department to the Department of Corrections County Jail Division on March 26th of this year, under the commissary section, it says, and I quote, "Matron Ashley Kelly oversees commissary operations." So we're only putting in place what
Yes.
is the effective role of the matron.
I appreciate that, and we're going to look at it as well. This is not something that I don't think there's anything that's going to prevent moving forward with it. But I do have to say and stand for what I believe in as well. And, you can take offense. I've been offended for quite a while. But it is one of those things where there is a point in time where this has to be put away. And hopefully that day's coming soon. So I appreciate, everything, like I said, the council does and what the commissioners do and moving forward with a lot of different things and programs and processes. But it does feel like every time that there's a turnaround, there's an attack at the matron's position. I said it in a meeting ago with our commissioners that it is just oddly strange that is the position that gets, attacked every meeting, every time, every job descriptions. We talk about the process of HR and our job descriptions and everything else, and there are times where all those processes are foregone. But it's our office is held, and I'm okay with it. And if this is a job description that has to be, then that's what it'll have to be. But I do promise that we'll look at it. I do have, the ability to challenge whatever I want to, wherever I think is best for the office.
And there is a process in the ordinance that allows for a review.
Thank you. All right. That's really all I have to
Okay.
say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from committee members or other interested parties?
Well, I would just say on behalf of the committee, I think that we have job descriptions for every other position. This was just closing up one position that we still did not have a job description for. So certainly not an attack on any office or any department, so it's just.
Okay, thank you for that, Mary. That being said, I would entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion to accept the job description.
I have a motion by Jeff. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Todd. Any other final discussion? Seeing and hearing none. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries all those opposed. Motion carries 6-1. All right, thank you. Let me find my agenda. Okay. That moves us on to, we have a short agenda today. That gets us to the additional appropriations for this month, of which we don't really have a whole lot. Bear with me while I... Beginning with the general fund, we had a refund from Parkview. They are a part of a purchasing group and got a refund as a part of that loyalty rewards program of $86.88. So we'll reappropriate that to their food line item. Sales disclosure fund in the county assessor's office, $18,775. This is the program upgrade to the Schneider Beacon program that we talked about last month with Jada, that she came down and we gave a consensus agreement to move forward. This is the actual appropriation of that funding. From Highway, the restricted fund, $280,000 for The oil needed to go with the continued increase in the amount of chip and sealing projects that Rick reported on last month. Last month, we did the stone portion of that. This is the oil portion. How many pages there?
He has lots of pages.
Yeah. Recorder's Perpetuation Fund, U.S. Imaging, $8,106.26. Kylie had a really good explanation that's in our packet, and if you're all okay with that explanation, I'll move on, but Kylie's here if you need to have additional explanation as to what's happening on this.
No.
You all feel
I'm fine.
okay with that?
Feel good with it, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so, and Kylie and I talked yesterday, and I feel really comfortable with that too. So essentially, that's to finish the project that we started in 2022. And as you can see, even with this additional appropriation, which is really just reappropriating money in a new year from a previously signed contract, we're coming in several $1,000s below budget versus that original quote. So a good finish there. Lots of pages.
Yeah, there is.
From the Lit Correctional Facility, the jail lit, $20. We had some scrap that we took over to Winsky's, so we're putting that 20 in the repairs and maintenance line item. Probation Department has some Trex, speaking of Trex, some Trex refunds that we've received totaling $1,575.52 from multiple collections, individual collections. Surveyor's Office, we received a tax settlement for a drainage for the Arbugus Young drainage watershed of $612.52 from our friends in Tippecanoe County for their portion of that watershed. Joe Root's asking from our Veterans Monument Fund for $1,000 for miscellaneous upkeep expenditures to upkeep our monument here outside of the courthouse. We do that on occasion to do any necessary repairs or upgrades there to keep it looking great. And then Project Income Fund with Community Corrections, as Brett referenced, we've had great success with the Trex program. We have another $238.18 for that program this month as well. Wildcat Solid Waste District, quarterly, we run the payroll for that district through the county auditor's office. So that is for this quarter's payroll of $58,134.16. And then last but not least, on the probation opioid grant, $24,000 of their grant funds they'd like to appropriate for continued peer recovery coach program uses. And that is your additional appropriation slate for September. Any questions on any of those? Pretty straightforward this month. Do I have a motion to approve? I have a motion by Carol to approve this month's additional appropriations. Do I have a second? I have Mary with the second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. We do have a couple of approvals for transfers. Handful here. Clerk's office, $92.32 from office supplies to refunds to correct an error. Area Plan Commission, $44,650. This is from the empty building inspector position over to the contractual services, where we've been having a contractor perform building inspections while we try to fill that position. $500 from extra help to interpreter fees for Superior Court. From the Health Department, $11,256 from the empty administrator salary position to the interim administrator contract position there. EMS Lit, $900 from, we've had some empty paramedic slots, so we're taking that unused balance, moving it to the EMS part-time. And then on the same thing, $5,700 from the paramedic line item part-time, $4,100 from paramedics to overtime. And that is your transfers that require approval.
Motion to accept.
Okay, I have a motion by Joe to accept. Do I have a second? Second by Mike. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0. Those transfers are approved. Okay. I'm sure you guys have looked at this in conjunction with your budget prep, but we did receive the updated budget status report for the year-to-date budget and then the monthly status report, which shows all of the fund balances. We received those from the auditor. And as usual, I like to have a motion to acknowledge for State Board of Accounts that the auditor provided that to us. Someone would care to make that motion?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Mary mumbled.
Mary with the motion and Jeff with the second. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 7-0 that we received that data. Any council reports on any committee or just community work that you may have done that you want to report to the full body? I know everybody's probably been tied up with budget prep here in the last few weeks.
Last Tuesday, the Area Plan Commission had a exciting meeting. It was about rezoning the piece of property. A group that is the data center. Anyways, it was not recommended that that would be rezoned, so that has gone to the commission now. Yeah,
Okay.
This month is buried.
about a 3-hour meeting, and Liz did a great job explaining everything.
Okay.
That's it. Oh, that's not it. I don't know how much growth our community really wants to have. That's what I want to say. You know, as we're talking about a budget like this, EMS and a great sheriff's department, keeping us safe, you know, all the things that cost money. You know, and it's going to come down to some hard questions, and if we're not accepting of any business for that industrial park. And that's what a lot of those voices were about.
And if you'll allow me to editorialize
Oh,
for a moment,
please,
that
please
is
do.
really the discussion. We need to quit thinking about, do we want a data center or do we not want a data center? We need to be talking and debating, do we want the outcomes that come with a larger tax base or an outcome that comes with the existing tax base? Because we have reached, as we've started to discuss here, I think we've reached max budget on what this tax base can support. And without some additional growth and additional taxpayers, it's going to be very hard to continue to support EMS and Sheriff's Department, law enforcement, everything at the levels we've become accustomed to. So that's really the discussion we need to be having at a bigger picture level of, you know, if we're against this and we're against this and against this, is there anything that we're for? Is there anything that we're willing to accept as a community?
And a data center brings a lot of increased property taxes without the opposite of adding more schools and all the.
Trucks on the road or
all
things
those
like that,
kinds
so
of things.
That's right.
So,
So I think this will come up again, whether it's another data center application in the future, or, you know, whatever the next large corporate economic development project is. We'll need to have, I think, a little more in depth of a discussion next time, rather than just yes or no, do you want this project? So, end of soapbox rant. Commissioner reports. We have 2 commissioners in the room. Anything the commissioners would like to update the council on? Can you come to the microphone, please, Kevin? I'm sorry, but we do have a dedicated cadre of viewers that watch these meetings, so I want them to make sure they can hear your report.
Only thing I wanted to say was that Bert and I was able to visit the annex, and it looks right now, barring any major issues, at the first week of October.
Great.
So that's what we're shooting
Time for Halloween.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good update. Thank you. Department heads. I know we're going to talk to you all here in more depth about budgets coming up over the next hours and into tomorrow, but anybody have anything they want to bring before the council here as part of the regular meeting? Renee with Central Dispatch.
Actually, just
EMA.
an LAP, how about
LAPC.
LAPC?
Okay, you wear many hats.
So I think you all received my email invitation for our LAPC. It's next Thursday at the police department, and it's going to be a seminar put on by Norfolk and Southern.
Okay.
And it's important that we have, I know a couple of you have already, will be attending, but it's important that we have all of our people involved
Can
in
you
that.
just walk through for the public what we do at a tabletop?
So,
LAPC
yeah, so
drill?
this seminar is going to be instructional from Norfolk and Southern, and we are taking this, and next June, we don't have like the exact date yet, but next June, this gentleman with Norfolk and Southern is coming back, and we are going to conduct a full-scale exercise with the railroad. They will be bringing an actual engine and cars that can participate in a hazardous materials incident, which is huge for all of us.
Yeah, so LEPC is Local Emergency Planning
Commission,
Committee,
yes,
okay.
yes. And, like, I'm on it as EMA, Chris with Central Dispatch, law enforcement, the sheriff sits on it, police chief, commissioners, Dr. Hannah from Rossville Schools, EMS. So all of these players all participate. Health Department has several people that sit on our committee. And we also get money from, so we have several facilities throughout the county that are called, oh my gosh, they contain hazardous materials such as like Covestro, CF Industries as an example. And so they have to do reporting each year to the state. And then LEPC also gets funding from some of the money that they have to pay to the state, but we have to meet certain requirements. And part of those requirements are holding either a tabletop, a seminar, a full-scale exercise. We have to meet certain requirements in order to get funding from the state for LEPC. And then we have utilized the money in the last year for purchasing. Different fire departments have requested items, equipment for hazardous materials response and things like that. So, but building off of this full scale next year will be a great training opportunity. They will be here for 4 to 5 days. It will hit 3 days of Frankfurt Fires, each of their crews. The day that we select for the full scale exercise, Jeremy Warren, who sits on also the fire department sits on LEPC. Jeremy Warren from Frankfurt Fire has reached out. Lafayette Fire Department's hazmat team is also going to be participating and coming over as well. So we're looking forward to this. So really, we're going to take this seminar and all of this information and build off of into our full scale for next year.
And to those watching who may be wondering, what does the county council have to do with an emergency response? It's to take a scenario and play it through beginning to end. And oftentimes an emergency response of that kind of a disaster level is going to require emergency
Yes,
spending.
council. It's going to require the auditor's office
Yeah.
and the clerk treasurer's office at the city because they pay the bills.
And there are processes that councils can go through to do authorize emergency spending on a very short order for a true emergency situation. And so it's good training for us to remind ourselves, how do we do that?
Yes.
And
It's not about finding
Yeah.
fault. So full scale, our exercises and things, it is what can we do to improve? How can we, decrease those gaps in different things that we, maybe struggle in? And so it's identifying those things and being able to build on that. And it makes us all better in our position. So, I'm looking forward to it. I've heard this gentleman that's presenting is really good. And so I'm excited about this and really excited about next June, so.
And we've always had at least one representative from the council.
Yes,
It sounds like
yes.
you've had an RSVP already.
Yes, we have. I
Okay.
think, yes, Jeff, I think Mike as well.
Good.
So we have different ones, but anybody.
But I would encourage all
please,
of you to try
yes,
to go if you can.
Yes, so it starts at 9:00 next Thursday at the police department. And it'll be done before noon. So, but, anyway, I'm trying to think, anything else, Central Dispatch? Only thing, just so you know, like, we're trying to do a little more outreach, community outreach, and also reaching more of our Hispanic community as well. And part of that, we're going to be participating at the Racy's Festival. And we have created some flyers of what to expect when you call 911 and things like that. So we have our English version. We also have our Spanish version as well. It's important for people to also realize we have a large Hispanic community. We have language line capabilities. We have 3 translators that are bilingual dispatchers, so they're always not on duty. But we have those capabilities, and it's important for the community to know that. So we don't want them to be afraid to call 911 because they're not going to have a translator available. We can immediately connect either with our bilingual dispatcher who's on duty at the time when the call comes in. We have language line. We also, not only, I think all of you know, you can text 911, we also have the capability of translating back and forth in our texting to 911. So we're doing some of those community outreaches. Last week, the police department, the last 2 or 3 years, the police department and us have teamed up and participated at the Healthy Communities baby shower that they put on. So we were out there, Chris and I went, and Brady Sorrells from the police department. We gave out a lot of information from Central Dispatch. My EMA hat, we had a large amount of emergency radios that you can use in the event of a power outage.
Yeah.
So we were able to give out several, I think like 54 of those we gave out last week as well. So it's just about, making those, bridging those,
Yeah.
getting out there in the community. And that's what we're looking forward to and doing that, so.
Well, I appreciate that update because those are the kind of things that oftentimes the public doesn't know about. Or
Sure.
that happen behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
we do try to prepare and anticipate potential emergencies and be ready. So thank you.
I don't have anything else unless you do for me.
All right.
Okay,
Thanks,
thanks.
Renee.
Thanks, Ray.
Any other department heads need time in the regular meeting? Melissa, Board of Health.
Good morning. Looking forward to that exercise next week. We'll be there as part of the emergency preparedness as well. I want to just give you a quick update. We did form and initiate a Board of Health Finance Subcommittee. So I want that noted in our minutes here. There's a charter in progress. We'll be sending that to our Board of Health with upcoming board meeting on our September 16th. So that's coming soon. That is comprised of Health Officer Dr. Melissa Pearson, the Public Health Administrator, myself in interim, Dr. Erica Hughes, DVM, and also Kathy Martin, a board member. And then on top of that, obviously, our invaluable office manager who helps guide us through a lot of that, Deanna Laux. The purpose will be to review and advise in detail financial and budget proposals prior to the Board of Health approvals. Currently, the current state was that stuff just kind of goes to the general board. And we want to really dive in and go into detail and really have it drive our decisions. Current slated for the Tuesday that doesn't have a council and committee commissioners meeting, so that happens to fall right before our other board meetings as well. So that'll be 8:30 at the Healthy Communities Boardroom. I don't have it on the books yet, but that's our plan. We're also wrapping up our food and vector FTE but backfill that is currently our contract coverage, currently being covered by Rodney Wan, so we want to thank him for that. Once we are clear of our budget approval, we should be ready to close on our interim period. Large amount of the HFI grants, I should say start closing the interim period. There's still a large amount of the HFI grants that need to be distributed. These are all things that are giant Post-it notes on my wall behind my desk. If you've ever been in the office, it's covered with things, and things are getting marked off and crossed off quickly, but a few key things left to pick up. Redefining our program goals and adding quality metrics to make sure we are measuring our outcomes. Also, just file and procedural cleanup is going on. Lots of online updates, making sure our forms are online. Are they updated? Are they the current? Do public have access to those? Our board meetings are posted on the webpage in terms of where you can, and who our board members are. We're also posting and filing then the FTE, Public Health Administrator position. Want to share also just some busyness going on. This is Overdose Awareness Month, if you are not aware of that. There are shirts available. I'll put a plug in for my friends at Trinity, our Healthy Community Partners. For $20, stop by Trinity Hope and help support Overdose Awareness this month. There was a big drug take-back program the other night, and we also had a huge baby shower put on by Healthy Communities. And so really just a lot of great work happening. If you ever think I don't really know what the health department does or what Healthy Communities or our health partnerships do, just plug on online, Facebook. We are promoting a lot of the activities, really trying to get the work out there, and that makes a difference. Recently, we had to go back and do some tracking on what's the impact of, let's say, our mosquito abatement education. 2,400 people saw that, so 2,400 people saw that education. And I'm happy to say we haven't had a West Nile case here yet. The only other thing I have is to ask, do you want me to drop these now? These are additions to the budget book for our presentation tomorrow. Would you guys like to have those in advance, or you want me to spring them on you tomorrow?
I'd take them now so that we could review this evening.
Kind of what I guess.
That's what, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I did have a question.
Yes, please.
I had noticed that you have a large balance in that HFI. Does that have to be spent this year, or how does that work? No,
No, it
okay.
is not reverting.
Okay. That's good to know.
She knows that you know that you know the 140.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I'm excited to hear about your finance committee, and I think there's so much talent on that board that has, to get their input into that budget process, I think is going to be nothing but good. But I also know that trying to understand state and local government funding processes is really complex and hard. So to the extent that we can be a resource for that committee, please reach out to us.
Absolutely.
Carol's kind of your unofficial liaison to the Board of Health. I'm certainly willing to answer questions, but I know it's the spending side might be the easy side. It's knowing how much money you have to spend that can sometimes be the challenge. And so, if we can be of help, please reach out.
Absolutely, and that's really what we'll talk about tomorrow, and that's what I walk them through, is just really the basic, finance 101 of what we, or how we are comprised and how that
Right.
gets put out to kind of translate it, so, great.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? Sheriff? Oh, I'm sorry, Kylie. Sheriff first.
I'm sorry, I jumped in front of you.
We had a resignation in our records division for a records clerk that does all of the accounting for the inmate trust fund, all the money coming in, and I know there's fancy words for it, but basically she balances everything, gets everything sent and submitted. The request was sent a week before the decision was made to hold all new hires or anything like that to HR, and the request to open the job for the 7 days and that. So with that, we listened at the commissioners meeting, the last commissioners meeting, and Councilwoman Price, advised that, we're going to hold on any new hires, but this is a time sensitive for the fact that now we have backups trying to do a job and an additional job to get that done. So I'm asking for the ability to advertise that, and it's something we have budgeted. It's not a new position, it's replacing.
I guess I'm going to answer that by saying that I'd like to get through the budget, which means that by the end of the day tomorrow, I think we can get you something. I'm not trying to hold anybody hostage here, but we do have a bigger picture that we need to look at. And in my mind, if we get to the point where we need to make some tough choices about cuts, it sure be a lot easier to do it in places that are empty currently versus having to lay somebody off. So we'll talk about it at your budget slot.
Very good.
That's okay, and we'll try to have a resolution by tomorrow.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Kylie, Recorder's Office.
So I did want to thank you for the appropriation. That'll really help us get that 29-year project done. We're eager to get that released. They're already using some of the general index books that have been released online. I know, Alan, we had discussed that, so if you have any questions, let me know. Another thing, because I was prepared to come before, I realized that they put the hiring freeze on, so I understand this has to wait. But Beth Keeney will be retiring at the end of the year after 13 years in the office. I'd really like to get someone in there. I'm not looking till November, but I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. I know we'll talk about it more in budget. I just like to have that overlap. She has been there 13 years, has a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of detailed stuff that happens in our office. The longer that we can have somebody in there to get training before the end of the year would really help. So just wanted to let you know and put that on your radar that I am getting creative with my current budget, so there may be like a transfer coming should the, freeze be lifted. There would be an additional transfer trying to learn the lingo, a transfer of the current budget to cover that employee coming in, so.
Yeah, no problem with that. I want to just quickly say, I'm not viewing this as a freeze. That sounds way too hard. I just felt like we were a week away from the
Right.
budget. Can we just hang on just a little bit and
Right.
have this discussion?
I realize that. Like I said, I had already been on there with the appropriation, so I was like, I wanted to say that I was prepared because, like I said, there's a lot of detailed stuff, and like I'm not looking till November, but I didn't know if it was easier to kind of get that ball rolling and give that person more time to plan ahead. So.
Well, and I appreciate it's good for us to be able to plan ahead too. So thank you for letting
And
us know.
there's been several departments kind of caught in this.
Right,
situation.
right. So, yeah, but I did want to say I knew that it was it was discussed at the commissioners meeting already, but I did want to put that on your radar.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Amy with Extension.
I'm going to be a broken record to this whole thing. The Extension Office has been short-staffed since, starting last August of '24. We had the retirement of a part-time secretary. We filled that intermittently with a high school student through their, it was ICE program many, many years ago when I was in school, that come in and helped us in the afternoons. And then, of course, she's gone now in May, in May. And then in March, our program assistant, our nutrition program assistant become vacant in there. So we have one full-time county employee. I'm going to present to you in my budget hearing this afternoon of combining my part-time secretary, my part-time program assistant, and I also have an extra help line item in there for overtime. I would like to combine all three of those into a full-time position as a overall general extension program assistant. I've already submitted those job descriptions and they have ran through committee. What I'm wanting to do here is have a office, lack of a better word, she is our office coordinator, but kind of more the secretarial, answering the phones, dealing with the clients that come in, that kind of stuff. And then a full-time program assistant to assist the educators with programming. Still can go out and do some of the stuff that the nutrition program assistant did and go out and do like some of the food pantry stuff, but then also help all of the program areas, whether it's youth, ag, or even the health and human sciences. So right now I have worked with Cecily. We have enough money in our budget of the 2025 budget to hire this person now, plus cover all what I call their hidden costs that no one sees, their benefits, their taxes, their vacation, all of that. We have that in our budget now. I understand we're in that non-freeze holding pattern. We would like to go ahead and get that going, understand where we're at, but we also want to make sure it's going to be supported for 26.
That's what we want too.
Yes. So, yeah, I do not want to hire somebody in October and then in January tell them,
Right.
best wishes.
The
So,
main thing that at the time was that I knew we were going to get the results of this physical impact study that
100%.
we got this morning. And so we have new information as of 8 o'clock.
Yes.
That we didn't have before today. So if you'll, again, like the others, let's talk about it at your budget slot.
yes. And
And,
kind of one of my main concerns is right now, there's times I can't keep my office open. You know, there's a lot of times the educators, we're out doing programs, and as you're aware, Karen and I, the HHS educator, we are servicing 2 counties. So we're splitting our time between Clinton and Carroll counties. So a lot of times it's just Hannah, the youth educator, and our full-time office coordinator that is there that has a lunch period. She has break times, and there's times I'm having to shut my office down. Purdue goes on recess basically from the 24th of December through the new year. Well, Lucy has vacation too that she'd like to take. So I'm looking at trying to cover and keep an office open for a week and a half that, I'm struggling at times. And I don't want to close my office. It's not good for anybody, but I'm struggling with one full-time employee.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I
so,
do have one question.
Mary.
How much would you be looking at for 2026 that would not be covered? You said that you have it in your budget to cover the employee salary and benefits for 2025.
25, yes. So in my budget, if you support me as in the past, I have the salary covered. It's the hidden benefits
All the benefits,
that I need the additional appropriation for, I guess. So,
Okay.
yep.
Yeah, and that's in there. We'll get to that. So, all right. Thank you for the
Thanks,
update.
Amy.
Anybody else? Anybody in general have any business to come before the council? Okay. Seeing and hearing none, I'm going to recess the regular council meeting, and I'll give everybody, let's say, 10 minutes to stretch. And if you don't care to stay for the budget, you're welcome to leave. If you're here for the budget, we'll reconvene in 10 minutes, and we'll start diving into the departmental reviews.
So I didn't print this, I print all my own stuff. I didn't print the gist.